Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ileana Lamar podcast. I'm your host, Ileana, and today we've got an exciting guest, somebody that is very, very dear to my heart. She started at the age of 6 with her career, being featured on Reader's Digest. She has come out in Texas billboards on the cover of Texas school books. She has come out in countless advertisements. She has come out in commercials such as Bratz Dolls, Toys R Us, and so much more. She also was part of the first ever team to win a silver medal at the Worlds in dance, hip hop. And she is here with us today. She's also the co-founder of I Am Luxury. And again, like I said, she's very dear to my heart, dear to my heart. She is none other than my daughter, Maya Martinez. Welcome, Maya.
Thank you for having me.
I really thought that it was great to have Maya as our first guest. She is my daughter, my one and only, but we're going to get to know her. So what I did was I got some questions, and I'm going to get this list right here. And so we're going to ask you questions that you've never seen, Maya. So, let's see what you have to say. All right, Maya, pitch yourself to a stranger in 30 seconds.
Okay. Do I look at this camera? I'll say, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Maya Martinez. I'm born and raised in the Rio Grande Valley, Texas. I'm 26 years old recently. I'm a Scorpio, and I love all things fashion, purses, girly things. I love the color pink. I'm very business mindset oriented. I love to create things. I'm an actress. I love to direct and write, and I would like to be a part of anything creative in the future, any creative projects, podcasts. This is my first one.
I love to hear it. Okay, well, so we're there. I'm going to skip to one of the questions. I'm going to go to this one now. We're going to go in depth. What's one dream or aspiration that you had as a kid that it still resonates with you today?
It's actually funny. I was having a conversation the other day about my love of acting. As you know, I've always wanted to be an actress since I was like 5 or 6. And I signed to an agent back when I was 12 and then again this year. And it's just one of those things that I've tried so many things. I've made jewelry. I've, wanted to sell online, vintage clothes. I've had all these goals. I wanted to be a Build-A-Bear workshop owner when I was like 7. And the one constant that's always been there is acting. And I feel like no matter what I do, all the businesses we start, acting has just always been that like love that I don't think will ever leave. So I would say acting.
I love that. I love to hear that. Okay. Now, what is a random favorite thing of yours, song, snack, hobby, that instantly cheers you up?
Song? Well...
Oh, let's go to song. What song instantly cheers you up?
I don't know about cheers me up, but my favorite Taylor Swift song is Cardigan. It's actually not a cheerful song, but like that's a song that if it plays, I feel like I'm at peace.
I think I've heard that song over and over through the years.
Heard it.
Okay. If you were a character in a TV show, who would you be?
I'm trying to think of like what shows I would like to live in. Like there's Vampire Diaries, there's Gossip Girl. I think Gossip Girl, maybe like Blair Waldorf. She's kind of got it all.
She's kind of got it all.
Yeah. Have you seen that show?
Yes, I have. Yeah. With everything happening with Blake Lively and everything right now. Yeah.
They're talking about it.
They're talking about it. Okay. So do you have anything else that you want to add before we really get into why we're here today? Our show is mainly about the 5 pillars of life, and you'll be hearing that constantly. They're I put those together, and we'll be talking about that in the first episode, but we do 5 pillars of life here on the Ileana Lamar podcast, and they are emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and financial. And most of the time on most of the podcasts, we'll be talking about 1. Some days we'll talk about 2, and others we'll talk about 5. Today's one of those days. Since Maya is our very first guest, this is our second episode, we're going to talk about all 5. And again, I put together some questions with all of those. Okay, so we're going to get to that. Okay, so we'll start on emotional pillar. Oh, I didn't let you answer your question a little bit ago. Was there anything else that you wanted to add, or?
Do you have a favorite pillar?
Do I have a favorite pillar? Spiritual is probably my favorite. For me,
that makes sense.
Spiritual is probably my favorite.
You're very spiritual.
Yes, very spiritual.
And it's something that you weren't always tapped into. So I feel like once you, it just changed everything for you.
Well, you obviously know that I've been, doing entrepreneurship and coaching and so forth pretty much since I was, 22. And since 2017, with the life coaching and all that stuff, I implemented always 4. I did the emotional, mental, physical and spiritual. And I always felt that there was something missing. And this is why we started the podcast. It was like a calling because I felt we needed to add that fifth pillar, and it just works. And, we're going to go with that. We're going to go full force, financial. Because you know what? We live in the physical realm. We live on earth. And the way things are going, I think it's important that we integrate that and push that. So that has become one of our 5 pillars here, with us and with my coaching and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Emotional pillar. How do you find emotional well-being at your age?
Oh, that's a good one. I think that I'm 26 now, so you're kind of not fresh out of college. You're a couple years removed. I feel like when you're in high school, you're sort of, I think finding yourself is kind of ever evolving, but especially in high school, like you're still trying to figure out who you are.
Right.
And then in college, I think that's that like the experimental phase of sort of just trying different clothes and meeting different people. You're exposed usually to a little bit more of the world, and then you're kind of a little bit removed. So then I think you kind of, at least for me, I became not more of an introvert, but I kind of like my circle got smaller, and you're only seeing so many people because you're years away from your high school friends. You usually are in a different town. I moved away, so I feel like it's a time of self-reflection and like that self-growth where the emotional side of it is boundaries and figuring out what works for you, your likes and dislikes, like how late you want to be up, when you want to go out and hang out with friends or coworkers or whoever. Social media, that relationship with social media, I think changes as you get older. I think when you're a teenager, I was a lot more locked in on like Instagram and what's trending and like falling kind of victim to, confidence and self-worth issues. And I think that kind of evolves as you get older. And something that I would recommend for like the emotional well-being is unplugging from social media from time to time.
It's funny that you say unplugging because that's something that we've been mentioning with some of my clients, the unplugging. I think that's going to be big in 2026. A lot of the unplugging, finding your community. So I'm glad that you heard that.
Just being intentional.
Just being intentional. This question is not there. But how did... And you may want to answer it or not. This was not on the question, but you speaking like that, it made me feel, a bit of pride as your mom. How did it affect you in any way? How I was, as far as like your emotional with the coaching and with all that stuff, did it help in any way? Did it navigate in any way?
I think that it was a lot of love that you covered, right? Are you talking about like your spiritual coaching? A lot of people, it was career and love, but I feel like predominantly love. And I feel like it kind of just made me not weary, but just like, oh, like that's what I have to look forward to when
the emotional well-being.
Doing all that. Yeah, like I was kind of really to myself, and I would do church camp and cheer.
But as far as like my coaching towards you and my
towards me,
yes, how did that affect you with your emotional
like
well-being?
Emotional? I don't know. I feel like I was kind of a late bloomer. I don't know if it was because of how you parented or anything, but I just feel like I was always a step behind everybody else. Like senior year, you know what I'm saying? Like even like a sophomore, like cheer girls were like going to parties. I didn't go to anything. I was always.
Do you think
like,
do you think it was because I helicoptered or because we had a safe environment? We had a safe relationship. We had an open relationship, a healthy relationship.
Yeah, like I felt very open to like share my feelings. We were very close. We've been very close. Okay. I don't know.
I was just asking. That wasn't even on there.
You know what
I think I was. When you were speaking, you sounded so beautiful and so wonderful. So when I heard, I was like, I want to know. I was like,
maybe it was a combination of like being an only child, being very close to you. I almost felt like you were my best friend, so you kind of replaced that desire to seek. I had friends in high school, but I wasn't like trying to go to parties and meet people and hang out and like leave, and you know what I'm saying, like leave the nest. I was very like comfortable, and then after a couple years, like I'll try that, with everybody else.
Okay, and now that you're older, how do you handle stress or setbacks? Do you have a personal go-to strategy?
Well, speaking of social media, I'm victim to the doom scroll. Like sometimes I'm online, I'm on Netflix, I'm like shopping, like browsing, window shopping. But when I remember to, I like to take a bath. I like to listen to like an audiobook. I try to talk about my feelings. Like if I have someone that I'm close to, that I can vent to, it's good to have like a good small circle, even if it's just one other person that is like, man, today was tough, and you just get to like vent. And sometimes you don't even want to be told what the solution, but you just want to
You just want to be heard. You want to be seen. Absolutely.
Sometimes that's like all it takes is
Absolutely.
like talking about it, like
That's
just
so
like
important.
letting it sometimes it internalizes in your body, like, oh, this person said this to me today, or this lady, you know,
let
in
it
a
go.
shopping cart, like, you know, pushed me or whatever, like random thing. I saw a TikTok the other day about this girl who's at a Home Goods, and like she went through like all these encounters with these different people, like saying like you could have moved out of the aisle, and all the comments were like, God chose the right person to be in that situation, because like I would have handled that differently. Yeah. So sometimes when you like life trials and tribulations, like it's good to just talk about it, and then that alone kind of resets you for the rest of your night, to let that energy
Go off and let it
then
go.
like enjoy, because when you have free time, when you're not working, that should be enjoyed. That should be where like you get to like prioritize you and de-stressing and relaxing. So if you're holding on to like something bad that happened or something that affected you negatively,
You hold on to it. Okay, and it's funny
letting
that you
it
mentioned
go
that.
is important.
And we mentioned it a while ago about my parenting, but what's one emotional lesson that you learned from our family dynamic that you still carry with you?
brutal honesty.
Brutal honesty? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah?
I feel like we kind of
Very authentic.
we're the
very
first
open.
people to tell each other the truth. You know, the like we check each other, you
Yeah.
know. When it's like it could be
Anything.
attitude, it could be appearance, you know, like you've got this, you know, like we're very honest.
And I know you
not
mentioned, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you mentioned
Yeah.
that it's good to be heard and it's good to be seen and all that stuff. But I know that one of the things we do also practice, and I think, I don't know, I know it goes way back when, and maybe you can remember when. I remember that when we would see each other, when I'd pick you up from school, or even when you'd come home from work, when you were, waiting tables, or when you were the youngest news producer at the station. I know when we first saw each other, do you remember what I would always
Yes.
tell you? What was the first thing that you should do when we first see each other?
Yeah, because I would come in and be like, oh my God, I would start ranting and be like, what? Tell me something good that happened today.
And what do you think? How do you think that family dynamic worked?
Yeah, I think it taught me like the tongue is powerful. So if you are constantly complaining and talking negatively about things, like you're going to manifest more of that. And it's good to always focus on the positive. Like it's okay to complain, but it's like start with something good and shift your mood to that to like frequency, essentially, of like
Yes.
gratitude, gratefulness of like what good thing did happen. And then it's like, okay, once you kind of say that, then you can say the rest with a more like calm energy.
Right. I know that, and I know that's something that I worked with you, and I've worked at with the clients. I tell them, when you have the work environment, there's a bunch of different personalities, and not everybody's in the same vibration. Not everybody's going through the same thing. So it's kind of your morning and your evening should start with something of gratitude to start the day. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay, do you want to mention anything else before we go into the mental pillar? Anything else about emotions?
Just that I'm a Scorpio and I'm very emotional.
Water
I think if we had to do a workshop, that'd probably be my pillar.
That would be your pillar.
You're the air sign.
I'm
That
the air
is
sign,
like
the mind, the logic.
You're kind of like, oh, stop crying already. You know, like this person over here is too emotional. I'm almost too in touch with my emotions. I think you're like just enough. Like,
But I
kinda,
understand when you're going through your emotions. But I'm kind of like, okay,
you lived
let's
with me
let's
for a
think,
long
let's
time.
think about it now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. All right. So let's go to our mental pillar. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go mental. We're gonna go to the brain. We're gonna go to the mindset. We were already talking about that. So how do you feed your mind and stay intellectually curious?
I think that is where I probably would need to keep working at it, because I've seen like, it's funny, I'm probably going to reference TikTok a lot because I'm like always seeing different things.
Okay.
But one is like, I saw one that talked about how like brain exercises help prevent from like dementia and Alzheimer's. And they were talking about like doing different things with your fingers and like doing like, and I was struggling doing it. So I was like, man, I need to like,
Your mind is very, very important.
You got to keep your brain
your brain
active.
working, brain active.
I don't know. I think I like to read. I think that's important, is like whether it's audiobooks or like something that you're reading is just kind of stimulating your mind, learning new words.
Yeah.
You know, something as simple as that, like a new word of the day,
Right.
new word in another language.
I know me as a person who I've just, have this passion, and I'm so in love with continuously learning and evolving, with the workshops and the seminars and the thing, and reading and podcasts. I think that is a way that I've been able to stay intellectually curious. Okay, so
I think also like some people might disagree, but like when I think of mental and intellectual, like you might think of like the traditional like math, science, but sometimes learning and like growing your mind is also about learning about the things that you find interest in, right? Like it could be like, Legos or, something random. It could be video games. It could be, sewing. It can be like if you learn about like the history of how something was invented or space or, if you have like a niche thing that you're into, like just learning about that because you're already curious, that's going to help like your brain
wherever
too.
you put your brain, your thoughts, that's what you're going to create, being the creator of your reality. Okay, we spoke a little bit. You said you were a Scorpio water sign. I am a Gemini, so logical, a lot of air signs. So, I constantly overthink. So my question to you is, how do you deal with overthinking and putting things into action?
That's a tough one because like I feel like I grew up kind of a perfectionist. So I have that like, what is it? Like the fear of, they say that perfectionism is like you overthink too much. Like you're like, oh, I can't do it until it's perfect. So you never do it. I forget. There's like a phrase like that perfectly summarizes like you're not perfectionist. You're just like,
you're delaying, you're stalling, your procrastination. I've heard it.
yeah, like
I'm trying to think
you have
for
a fear of failure, so you don't try.
Is it the imposter syndrome?
No, it's like the opposite.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah,
so
that you
I
want
think
it perfect.
Yes, it's like you say like, oh, I can't until I have like a podcast. I can't do it until I do this. I have to do this first, or And something I've actually learned this year is don't be afraid of how you look to others. Don't think about rationalize all the ways that something can go wrong or the delay of things. Like just do it. It's better to do an unfinished to like send out an unfinished product than to wait and wait and wait, because you can always have a first edition of something and then tweak it and then do it again. But it's like if you start now versus when you actually think it's going to be perfect, you're never going to start. Right. And so I've been like posting more on social media. I've been like putting myself out there, and before I feel like I'm so self-critical that I can't do it. Like my hair is this. I need to make sure that like I know everything about this first. And it's like, no, we're all learning. We're all humans on this earth, and no one's perfect. No one has all the answers. So the most important thing you can do is try. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's like a very big thing that like at least I deal with. I'm sure a lot of other people deal with
that's awesome that you share that
the
rawness and stuff,
and overcoming that.
A lot of people, and I think a lot has to do with growing up and maturity, because I remember when I was younger, gosh, if you younger women and 20-year-olds, even the men, if you all could just understand that it's going to be okay and just go live life and do it the best you can. That's why we're doing this, the 5 pillars of life, because you start to realize, what, not everybody's perfect. Okay, you know what? Because some people will concentrate on just the financial, mm-hmm. and then but what happens if you're financially strong but you're spiritually empty, or you are missing the emotional part of it, and yet you're trying to be really smart. It's a balance. So I really think that you sharing that reminds us that we've got to make sure that even me, like being your mom and stuff, teaching you youngsters, that it's important for everybody. And this is for everybody at every age, I think. And it's never too late. Anybody who is listening to the podcast can definitely, learn from what you just said. That was very, very important. It's very important that because we are our biggest critics at time.
Yeah.
We are our biggest critics at time, and we kind of just need to take that deep breath and practice that self-love and believe that we
don't
can
be
do
afraid
that.
of failure.
Don't be afraid of
you're
failure.
Going
just go
to.
for it.
I saw that too, is like the most successful person has failed more times than anyone.
Than you have even tried. I think I have heard that or something like that. Something like that. Right.
And
right.
like that, like stumbling and falling is the way to like being at the top. Like that's kind of the recipe. And so I feel like that's very, what's the word? Comforting, like mm-hmm. that thing that you're fearing, you should get it over with now.
Get it over with. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just
like
do
that
it.
Embarrassment, that like cringe, like whatever you're trying to avoid, like with trying, like just do it.
It's funny how you mentioned being self-critical, and it's so weird because I've seen you you've mastered things at such a young age and you've done so much, and I want, you to hear this especially, and everybody else hearing this today, that you've got to make sure that you practice that self-love and give yourself that pat in the back and know that you're right where you're supposed to be, and then take the right steps. And that's what we're going to keep doing there. So thank you for sharing that. We're going to stick with 2 for mental. Do you want to add anything else for the mind? Because the mind is very powerful. That's where everything starts. What we believe, that's where it starts. I think I had you hearing The Secret by Rhonda Byrne at the age of 3. I think by that time I had you already listening to that about manifestation and affirmations and all of that stuff. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add on mental before we hit the physical part?
Yeah, just like that constant reminder that what you tell yourself is law.
It's law.
It's fact. Like, just anytime you have like a negative thought, it's important to just like, nope, like
take it out.
That's like my self-doubt talking. That's like someone else talking. Like, you have to kind of always, it's a constant reminder, because your brain is coming up with like, what is it, like millions of thoughts a day.
Yes.
And not all of them are going to be positive, but you have to like shift that. It's almost like a constant mental effort to remind yourself, like, right. Every doubt you have, every self-critical thing you're thinking, like, it could be about anything. It could be about money. It could be about appearance. It could be about mental health,
Every morning I start off with thank you, God, thank you, universe. I put my feet on the ground. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I start with my meditation and affirmations. Is there something that you do to start you off on the right foot?
To start off, I know it sounds silly, but like, I try to make an effort to like smile as soon as I can in the day. Like, when you're like waking up, getting out of your room, like you're with someone else and you just are like, good morning, and you smile, like whoever that first person is, or like exchange. Whether you're looking at yourself or, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to ignore your phone. I know some people say like, don't touch your phone for the first 10 minutes of waking up. I'm like, I've heard that a lot of times. I never do that. I'm like on my phone right away.
Yeah.
But like, I try to like, as soon as I open my eyes, like I try to like, just like have that moment. Like I might close them again and be like, okay, it's going to be a good day. Like, let me like, and it might just be like that simple moment where I like smile to myself. But like, it's always that saying of like, woke up on the wrong side of the bed. It's like, what can you do to try and wake up on the right side of the bed? And like, sometimes you don't have enough time to get your coffee or to like do your normal routine. Something sets you off where you feel like all the rest of the day's ruined. But it's like, if you take that moment to yourself, it's like breathe and smile and be like, because sometimes like having a good day is as simple as you telling yourself, I'm going to have a good day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Uh-huh.
And so it's like, you might not have all the things that typically set you up for the right day, but it's like, if you just tell yourself that and remind yourself, sometimes that's all it takes to be good.
All right. Well, that is going to take us into the next one, because we start off with mind.
Yes.
But if we're going to go into the physical pillar, which is our body, which is our temple, which is...
I think you're actually doing better.
Yeah, I'm doing better in the physical pillar.
You're taking care of yourself.
You want to ask me the question?
I know, right?
You want to ask me the question?
What are you doing? How? Just how?
How? She constantly tells me that I take care of my physical. Well, I haven't been for a little bit because I was focusing on my other pillars, and I let the physical go for a little bit. So I'm going hard right now. So we are doing personal training. So that is something that I like to do. I'll either go outside for a walk, or I'll do personal training, and which you joined me the last 2 days.
If you guys saw me walk in here, I was sore. We did leg day.
We did personal training, yeah.
You're like, okay. Like, you're like in a little bit of pain. You're like, oh, but I'm like, I need like someone to help me get up.
She's like, hold my hand, open the door, do this.
Every like store we walk into, she's like 10 feet away. I'm like, go, save yourself.
Save yourself. Okay, well, regardless, let's talk about the physical pillar. How do you physically take care of yourself? How do you stay energized? How about that? Because you do have good energy. We're talking about physical, but your energy is good. Sleep.
Sleeping is important. If I don't have enough sleep, I'm like not the same person, right?
Right.
Because I don't drink coffee. Like some people like, it's like, oh, I gotta have my coffee. I gotta have my energy drink, my tea. Right. Like I drink water only. So it's like sleep is really a big like factor for like how my day goes.
So you get your 8 or 9 hours of sleep that they
Always,
recommend. Pretty
much.
Always.
Yeah. Like, and if I don't, like I'll try to nap the next day, or like if I have like 4 days in a row of like sleeping 6 hours, like I like try to set aside like one day of just like I'm gonna sleep in. I have no alarms. Yeah, like I'm just gonna like catch up. Basically, I don't know if that works like that, but that's like how I view it.
I love getting my sleep. I
catch up.
honestly think that it's important if you can get your sleep. I know that people right now, we're such in a hustle bustle, and that's where, the financial part comes, that everybody's like, okay, you got to be up here and you got to fight and you got to do
And
this.
not all jobs like set you up
Right.
for success
Right.
to sleep well.
To sleep well. So I do think rest is important. I do think that helps with the energy and the youthfulness and so forth. Okay, now.
Stretching too. Like
Stretching is
drinking
important.
Water.
It's funny because we were having a dinner with my friends the other day, and we were talking about that like that's the main thing, stretching and
I
staying
just started
hydrated.
doing it, but we used to do it. I used to do it every day and
Stretching.
cheer, like every single day. Like you have an hour practice, like the first 15 minutes, 10 minutes you stretch. And I stopped stretching for years, and then just like a couple months ago, I was like, I'm going to start stretching every day, because, I don't want to be like in my, how 10, 20 years from now, like already hurting, like I am right now.
And it does get tougher. It does get tougher,
like grandpa.
Yes. All right. So, well, you mentioned that.
I might still.
So how do you listen to your body when it's asking for that rest or care? Is it the sleep? Is it something else? How do you, is there something specific like when you're hurting?
Yeah, like if I have time, like if I have like the day to, I'll take a nap. I'll try to sleep in on a weekend. Other than that, it's hard to like find those moments for yourself. Sometimes even like taking a bath, like anything that relaxes you, I think like resets your body for like whenever you have to like be in go mode, And then even when you are in go mode, like take breaks, like remind yourself like, okay, even if it's like 10 seconds, like, okay, just like breathe and be like, okay, I'm stressed out right now. Whether you're exercising or you're in a physically demanding job or, something, you can just remind yourself like, this isn't going to be the rest of my day, or this isn't going to be the rest of life. Like I'm going to have that moment to like relax when I get home. And then when you do, like, I do like to just lay,
just relax,
like eat, watch a show, like at the end of the night, like just having those moments to like literally unplug.
Right. Okay. All right. So last physical question. It's a fun one. If your body had a theme song, what would it be?
For some reason, I'm thinking of like the Friends theme song. I'll be there for you.
I love that. Yes, I'll be there for you.
I don't know all the words. Maybe
for
just
your body. Yeah, that sounds good.
That's like what came to mind. I don't know. Because like what other like big theme songs are there? Full House is not like...
No, theme song it could be any song. It could be any song.
Not Shake It Up. That's for some reason that's Shake It.
No, but I like
thinking of Disney.
just that line itself though. I'll be there for you. Oh my gosh, Maya, that you just got me to probably start putting that into something. That's pretty awesome. I'll be there for you, to your body. That's so important that we tell ourselves that. Oh, I'm going to tell you that right now. I'll be there for you. I think that's great.
Not, sometimes you forget, right? Because it's like
we have to. Who else is going to take care of it?
That's right. Not. Balancing 5 different pillars is not always easy. You're going to like focus on one and then the other. But yeah, you got to take care of your body. Like if something's wrong, go get it, go to the doctor, get a checkup, like, take care of it. Yeah, try to exercise, eat healthy when you can. Like no one's perfect, but if you just kind of do a little bit of everything, like drinking water, sleeping, just like when you can, I think it's important to know that like it is your only body. So whenever you are able to,
we got to take care of it. It's our temple. I say that all. Just eat healthy. Take care of it. Because it eliminates. I mean, in the future, your illnesses and so forth. It helps prevent. Just being healthy just does that.
What is that thing? It's like temporary pain for like for future you.
Yeah. It does matter. Okay. Now let's go into the spiritual pillar. Are we ready for the spiritual pillar? Yes. Mine is, okay. So how do you define spirituality? That's my favorite. Spirituality is my favorite. How do you define spirituality in your life? And does it have to do with religion, nature, mindfulness, or something else?
Yeah, spirituality. I feel like obviously spirituality ties into religion, but I think it can be 2 separate things if you make it. I think both religion and spirituality are very individual. Like every person has their own way of thinking about it. For me, I feel like they're very intertwined. Like, because I grew up, right, like baptized Catholic, in a very like traditional Mexican household. Grandma is very big on Catholicism. Right. And then, growing up, we went to a lot of Christian churches. And then found, I feel like manifestation and like all of that has also been in my life too. So it's like,
That's spirituality.
it's all kind of one, like I don't personally do like the crystals, but like I've owned some, like I kind of believe in all of it, and I believe in prayer. I go to church sometimes. I don't always. I'm not as good as I used to.
Right.
I think when I started working in news and I was doing the Sundays, that kind of like prevented me from going. To me, it's almost like God isn't just one building. You know what I mean? Like God is with you always. And so it's like, even if you just like don't always pray, but you like pray every once in a while and you remind yourself, or you have gratitude every day, or you do like little things to like remind yourself, like God in the universe, like I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful for all the blessings that I have, and I want to ask for more blessings, and that's kind of how I see it. Like,
because spirituality can be viewed as taboo. Some people don't want to even talk about it. Some people, they don't even want to mention it. And I think it's important, but I also think it's important that in spirituality that we don't judge others.
No.
I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, each one of us are one, even though we're
all
connected.
connected.
We're all connected. We're all connected. We're all, human beings. We're all
even
made
like
of the
the
same
moon
thing. Everything.
and the plants and
Everything,
us, like every living thing, every like objects have energy, right? Like matter.
Right. And they're doing tests and studies, and there's facts about that. But my main thing is that we're all connected, but we all are our individual self. Like, what resonates with you might not resonate with me, and so forth. So I think spirituality is finding that higher self. And for me, it is with God and the universe, and but I can feel God within me, and here I can start praying. Here I can see it outside in nature. I can see it on that. And some
and
people
signs.
say,
Sometimes they say like people pass away and you
Signs,
see like
synchronicities,
butterflies or
Cardinals.
different things. Things are all just like reminders of God's blessings.
Of
and
God's
it's
blessings.
like you don't have to like only be in a building or only do this and be like, okay, now like I feel sad. It's like, it's kind of something that is just with you, so
I think this is a big thing. And this is what I've been studying, probably since 2012, but I've been with the teaching, is that I believe that we are born in love and light. We come into the universe and we're born with love and light, connection to God, the divine. And then along the line, that gets like a little lost. It gets shifted, it gets changed. We start to get insecurities, we start to lose that. And then when you start to study spirituality, and at least that's been happening to me on my journey, on my transformational journey, is I have found that love and that light. And it brought me back.
it also
to
has to do with like healing,
God,
like healing your
and
inner
healing
child.
my inner child, healing my inner child, and all that stuff. That is so important. And again, that, and I think that work is continuous. I think and again, we're talking about spirituality, and a lot of people do see it as taboo. And I do think, and people are like, oh, healing this, or oh, just get up and do it. Screw your mood, and it doesn't matter. You're hearing that now. It's being pushed a little bit right now. It's starting. We'll see how far it goes, but it is so vital that we don't lose sight of healing that, because it helps us become our best selves. Because then one day we're older, and it's like, where's my life? Do I even know it?
Yeah. I think it's important to have an anchor, because that's what they talk about in I'm going to sound probably not what is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Okay.
And it was like, they found that people need, like water, and then like to survive. That's like the most basic fundamental thing. And then it was like food and water, and then shelter, like, because, people can die, cavemen needed a place to be. Otherwise they'd, get cold or whatever, freeze or hypothermia. And then it was like, okay, after that, you need community. That was a big one, because like people who were, left alone to fend for themselves in the world, like didn't really make it as much as like, and they've done experiments with like the babies that had like the mother's care, and like ones that were held, and then ones that didn't do well. So it's like care and human connection is important. And then after that, it was like your purpose, your why. It's like, now we're all here, eating, talking, mingling. And it's like, well, what are we here for? What's our purpose?
Right.
What's, why? Why was I born? Right? Like, what am I doing? am I just going to do what my parents did? Am I just going to do what is available to me? What's that purpose? And sometimes like you just become in tune with yourself, that you're like, okay, what do I feel like doing? What am I good at, right? What makes me happy? What doesn't feel like work? But some of it is also just that like purpose with God and like purpose with the universe of like, I was meant to do
something. And that's how I it's funny that you mentioned that, because I know I've been putting this off, and I just feel that it was time for me to do this. But it's also been, I've been coaching for a long time, and I believe that everybody needs their why. My why. What is your why? And so it's okay sometimes not to have your why. And I suggest to anybody that is listening today, that if you don't know your why and you don't know what your life purpose is and you don't know what to pursue right now, invest in yourself, pursue in becoming your best self, because that is going to lead you in the right direction. And
it's your longest relationship.
It's your longest relationship. It's you. It's you, that self-love. And that was something that I learned later on in life. And I think it's so, so beautiful. Sometimes I get too much into the self-love. No? Sometimes no? Okay.
What is too much?
Okay. All right. All right. So if your life were a spiritual adventure, what would be the next destination or chapter? These questions are a little bit...
If my life was a spiritual adventure. What would you call it? Maybe like... I'm trying to relate it to like, what is that? The Alchemist, like something that would have like a spiritual type of like interpretation or metaphor. I think it would be something along the lines of like diving in, jumping into something, like you have moments in life where you feel stuck or you feel like lost for inspiration, and then you finally find it and you're like, okay, I've made my mind up, now I have to do the work. And that's kind of where I feel like I'm at. Like I'm like in that like diving in mode. So I don't know if that's like take the leap, take the jump in terms of spirituality, is like jump off the cliff, do the scary thing and like put in the work. I think that's like what's next. Is like I have all these ideas. I've started things. I have plans. I have like, all, things made and set, but it's like now I've got to actually like do that, like those steps to get me to where I want to be.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And for me, I think the spiritual adventure, and the reason I'm sharing this because it's going to lead us to the next pillar. I think for me, the next spiritual adventure, my next destination, my next chapter is getting better with the financial pillar. I think that's where I am in all of this. I do believe that I've always been okay with finances. I've always believed that money finds me. I have those manifestations. I believe that money always finds a way to me. But I think in what I want to do in life and the change I want to help make in this world and the amount of people that I want to impact, I think financial is very important. And so you're going to hear it a lot on the podcast.
Very important.
You're going to hear a lot on the podcast that if you have a good heart, you have a good soul, you owe it to yourself. It is your responsibility, and you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the world to make more money. You've got to let go of that shame. You've got to let go of that guilt. The world needs you. People like you, if you have a good soul, good heart, you are going to be the ones that change the world. You all are going to be the ones, again, to make it a better place. Mm-hmm. So you've got to, we're going to work on this together, because it's something that I've got to do, is like, you know what? This is what I want to do, and this is what I want to do. So we're going to get to the financial pillar.
And it's important that you said that, like, you have these blessings because you're a good person and because you're going to spread the wealth.
Goodness, right.
Spread
the wealth, right.
And it's not like money out of like selfishness. It's like everything needs money, like requires it.
Right.
So it's like if you want to open up a rescue, if you want to do, good work, like that all requires like money to do it. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a sin. It's not, greedy to want to like support yourself, your family, future generations, and your community, you know?
I love it. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned about money so far, Maya?
I think because I was raised by two like business owners, entrepreneurs, is like you've got to spend money to make money. That's like one lesson that I learned, is like, which kind of, like I said, it kind of conflicts that like not wanting to do something until you're perfect, because I'm like, well, I got to buy this thing and this tool and equipment, and like, I have to like do my website, and I have to hire someone to design it, and it has got to be there's all these like obstacles, but the necessities, you do have to like invest in yourself in order to grow. I think that's like the first thing that I think of when it comes to like making money. Sometimes you got to spend it to make it. You got to invest.
And we're going to dive into things like that in ways in the future. into how, to help with business and so forth and growing and stuff like that, even no matter where somebody is financially.
Yeah.
Because
Even
there's
investing in like
there's always a
seminars, classes,
right,
courses, right? Like that's investing in yourself because you're growing your knowledge base, and like that's
I
going
think
to
that's
help you
important.
in the future.
Yes.
That's a very like underrated but like important.
Right.
Like,
and have you gone to a lot of seminars, workshops?
only the ones that you invited me to, like every year.
Every year we go to them.
Like one a year.
Okay. All right. Maya,
Yes.
if you won $1 million tomorrow, what is the first thing that you would do?
Max out my Roth IRA. That's the first thing I would do.
Max out your Roth
Yeah.
IRA. Yeah.
That's like the first thing that comes to
That
mind.
would go boom, and then
It would be like Roth, setting aside like a bunch into savings, like not like a high yield savings that I don't touch. And then like I'd probably spend like $10K like shopping because like treat yourself, Not that I earned it, right? If I just like stumbled on $1 million, but it's like treat yourself. And then I'd probably invest in like real estate, maybe like buy a duplex or like buy you a house.
Buy me a house.
I wouldn't want to buy a car because to me like cars are a depreciating
it's a
asset.
liability. Right.
But like
I was waiting for you
I'd
to
want
say
to buy
investment.
like
investment.
one
I was waiting for you to say
piece.
investment.
But like that, those to me, those like the Roth and the savings are like your long term. I'm saving for future me because that's like retirement, right? Like,
but there's ways to, and we're gonna dive into all that. But I was wanting to know your answer. I think that's great. But yes, if you win $1 million, there has to be some
but I have to
towards
save
investment.
and then invest, and then like have like charity donation. Like that's important.
Look at you.
Too.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
But $1 million goes by faster than you think.
$1 million right now.
And is it taxed?
It's not. Is it taxed? It's not the same as it used to be. All right. What else do I have to ask you about? Well, I kind of asked about how do you balance financial responsibility with living in the present. Budget. You're very good at budgeting.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like when I say budget, I don't think it's like necessarily like I'm only gonna spend this or like restricting yourself. It's more so like tracking, like writing down your expenses and then your income, and then like just looking at like how much you're spending, what your habits are, how much is like recurring payments, and how much is like random one-off, like the holidays,
right?
Birthday gifts, Halloween costume, right? Like little things that like are kind of like once a year or like every once in a while. I just think it's good to like keep track of like what your financial health looks like.
Looking back on all 5 pillars, which one do you feel most confident in right now? And which one do you want to grow in the most?
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Looking back on all 5 pillars, which is
I think I'm with you on growing on the financial.
I think
feel
so
like
too.
We both are like constantly thinking about like how can we do that, And in speaking of like boundaries earlier, it's like with me, like I want to grow financially, but like not at the cost of my health and like well-being. Like I don't want to be so stressed out because I've worked in jobs that like stressed me out to the point where like I was not well. Like had way too much cortisol. Like I was constantly like heart racing, not sleeping well, not eating well. Like I was lethargic all the time. And that was thankfully like not the longest phase of my life, but like it kind of taught me like, okay, moving forward, I'm never going to compromise like my well-being for money or for a job or for a career, so it's like setting that boundary.
I'm 100% with you on that because you've seen me when I get, when I start working and I start going like that, I get like brain fog. I get like, okay, I need a break and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was a time where I was working nonstop. You'd go to sleep
that was like
maybe
early
at 10
in life.
and early in life because I was
life.
constantly working. I would, 6 a.m. to midnight work days sometimes at times, and that really took a toll on my physical because financial I was doing great. It took actually in all of it. I worked so hard on the financial part that it kind of, and I tipped the scales back and focused on that I kind of neglected the financial. So I agree with you 100%. All right, okay, and then what's a piece of advice that you'd give your younger self, your 16-year-old self?
I would say take more pictures.
Take more pictures?
Yeah, because I'm like, would there be anything that I would change? Not necessarily. And like, in terms of advice, I feel like I kind of all have to learn it. Like, I have to go through it to really, like, because I could be told anything, right? But when you're 16, you're like, yeah, okay, right? Like, you have to do the thing and learn the lesson yourself to, like, really get it.
Okay.
But I would just tell myself, like, Yeah, like enjoy every moment, you know, because you aren't paying bills. You know, you think everything is like the biggest problem in high school, right? Where you're like, oh, I failed this test, or this person said this to me. My life is over, you know, like,
Right.
but really it's like those moments are going to fly by and you're actually going to miss it. So it's like take the pictures, soak in all the memories, like literally just be present and enjoy like life as it passes you because it flies by. It really does.
Okay. Maya, one word to describe where you are in life right now.
Is it cheesy to say happy?
Not at all.
I'm very happy.
You're very happy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. You know?
I just think I've kind of chosen myself more than I ever have in life. If that makes sense? In terms of career, boundary setting, choosing how I want to spend my days and eating and everything. And when it comes to my life, I feel that I'm
Happy.
most in control and
Beautiful.
sleeping well, eating well, working on myself.
Happy.
I'm just happy.
I love that. And I believe that it's very important. Happy, wholesome, whole, being whole, being aligned. That's
I'm still missing pieces, right?
Right.
Like the
Still
working
happy.
out. I need to do that a little more. Gotta,
We definitely
you
got to
know,
get to the gym.
some things need to be worked on. You can't do all 5 at once, right? But yeah, I can genuinely say that I'm just in a good place.
That's awesome to hear. Well, we appreciate you being here with us today on the LMR podcast. We're not going to say goodbye yet. Do you have any questions to me before we say goodbye and sign off?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to ask you what your favorite memory is of us, of like raising me, and what pillar that would remind you of.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. As soon as you asked the question, it literally went to the day you were born. I know I've said this story to you very many times, that you came out and you were crying.
It's been downhill since then?
No, hold on. I'm going to start there because that's where it went to. Because for me, this whole journey with you has been life-changing, because see, you've lived your 26 years, right? So you've lived with me all your 26 years, but I had 26 years before you came in, right? So you coming into my life changed my life. So it's that memory, boom, it went straight to me holding you in my arms and you were crying. And then as soon as I put you in my arms, you stopped crying. And seeing you evolve into who you are today, you've done so well for yourself, so much for yourself.
Thank you.
I just want to make sure that you know that. And, memories, gosh, we've traveled. You and I have been to Ireland, Greece, we've been on a cruise to Mexico. We've been part of Dance World's teams. We've been part of the MTV's American Best Dance Crew casting part. You've been in. We moved to California. You did acting. You did very well. You had your own agency, all that stuff. So we've been on a journey that I can't say.
Or what is
just
one thing that stands, like a specific memory of like maybe something that made you happy, like something funny that I did, or
Honestly, everything.
I was a funny kid.
You were a funny kid. You always made me laugh. But I remember from a young age, you would just introduce yourself to everybody. I remember the officials, the mayors, all these different people would come into our shop, for the embroidery and screen printing and all that stuff. And you would just, are you not going to introduce me? It's like, hello, I'm here. And then you say happy. But I remember you were 6 years old and I heard you crying in your room. I'm like, what is going on here? And I went and I went to your room and I'm like, what's going on? Why are you crying? What made you cry? You're not helping me with my career. And I'm just like, what?
I thought I was so behind. I wanted to be a Disney kid.
I'm just so what? But
I was like,
honestly, everything has made
now?
me happy. You've done so well. You did so well in high school. You did well in college. That was one thing that I never got to do. I never got to graduate college. So the fact that you did it in 3 years. And magna cum laude, like all that stuff, that was something
I was
big.
in a hurry.
That was something big that made me happy. But honestly, I think that just is seeing who you are and that you are happy and that you are thriving. You're going for your dreams. You're not letting things set back. And it's like you say, where it's not perfect. We're work in progress. But I don't have is that
you don't have a favorite? When I was born?
I love.
When I stopped crying.
When you stopped crying. I know, because we've gone to like Disney a bunch of times. We've been, to New York. We've moved around,
Yeah.
a bunch of, I think
All of it.
All of it. All of it. There isn't anything that says, "Oh my gosh, that's better than that," or "That's better than that." It's a continuous, journey and joy. And we've been through
I have
ups and
very
downs.
specific memories of us in LA. I was like 12, 13, and we'd like have a playlist
The music and driving in the car.
and singing.
That's
singing
fun. That's a good
to
memory.
all those songs.
That's a core memory for you.
That was one
That
of
is
my
for me
favorite
too.
memories.
Going to Taylor Swift. Hello, you were mentioning that earlier. We went to her concert. The
We went
Eras tour. That
twice.
was crazy. Yeah, we went to two of her concerts.
Two
But Eras
concerts.
tour was pretty cool because we were on the floor. That was
That
pretty
was
fun.
fun.
That was fun. I gotta admit that. So, okay, Maya. Well, I appreciate you, Maya. Big thank you for sharing your heart, being here with us on the Ileana Lamar podcast, talking about the Ileana Lamar 5 pillars of life: emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and financial. And for being with us, to everyone out there, remember
for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Remember, for everyone out there, stay grounded. Keep thriving. Keep believing in yourself. Make sure that you join us in our next episode. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. We will also be broadcasting on Spotify and Apple. And follow us on our socials on Instagram. On Instagram, we are under the Ileana Lamar Podcast. And you can find my page at Ileana Lamar. Do you want to share your page?
My Instagram is Maya Martinez XO.
Maya
Maya Martinez XO.
XO, Maya Martinez.
You always remind me.
Yes, okay. All right, well, thank you. We will see you on our next episode. As always, remember to spread the love. Mwah. Today's episode is sponsored by I Am Luxury, the mother-daughter boutique bringing you authentic designer handbags, wallets, and accessories without those high luxury price tags. Whether you love Chanel, Louis Vuitton, or Fendi, every piece is carefully sourced, authenticated, and handpicked by us, so you always know exactly what you're getting. We drop new arrivals weekly and offer worldwide shipping, payment plans, and live shopping on Facebook, Whatnot, and TikTok. Treat yourself to real beautiful luxury. Visit IamLuxury.com and join our email list for first dibs and exclusive deals. That's IamLuxury.com.